Everybody, it's Trisha Lee, and I am just waiting for Larry to join us. In the meantime, I thought I'd just get started because some people might be waiting. And so today we are starting part one of our 20,000 part series on disruptive technology. So we're super excited to be part of this movement of individuals and companies that is creating technology that will disrupt the status quo, because we feel that a lot of the current technology is archaic and is damaging to our environment. And so we're setting our attention tonight to partner with other businesses and individuals that are creating their own disruptive technology to work in partnership with our very own special brand of solar power, which we have already started to disrupt and disturb people's lives with what we're doing. So super exciting. Hopefully Larry will join us soon, because for this first part of our 20,000 part series on disruptive technology, we I'm sure it'll go beyond 20,000 parts, but that's a start. So we're starting with part one. So anyway, we are going to introduce our disruptive technology by talking about a little bit of the history and share some funny stories about starting this company and some of the interesting experiences that we have as we experiment with our ideas to disrupt the status quo. Specifically, we are looking to take a chunk of the air pollution coming currently from coal and gas and replace it with a method that we are using where we heat petroleum, but not to the point of burning. So in our system, we will require a scheduled maintenance. However, the petroleum that we will be using will be able to be re-refined and recycled, because we're not actually burning it. Because my whole attitude about oil and gas, oil in particular, is that I love petroleum products, specifically the plastics that make my life so much more convenient and easy. Absolutely love plastic. Can't say enough about how wonderful plastic is. There's a little bit of problems with plastic, and it's all in how we use it. It's not the plastic itself that's the problem, but actually more than how we use it is how we dispose of it. So definitely plastic is a big problem when it is not recycled. However, what is so amazing about plastic is that it's a material that is virtually indestructible. It virtually lasts forever, and it can be recycled over and over and over and over and over and over again into eternity. And so my issue is not at all with plastic per se, but my issue is with how petroleum and plastic are used. Definitely when petroleum is made into plastic, I don't have so much of an issue with it unless people are disposing it in a way that, like not recycling it. So putting it in a landfill, letting it float around into the ocean where it gets into the food chain, very, very, very bad. However, when plastic is recycled over and over and over again, then it's, Larry, you want to take off your sunglasses? You look too bad to the bone for this hangout about our business, our disruptive technology startup company. So anyway, back to petroleum. So I think petroleum products are amazing, and we are using one with our disruptive technology. However, we are not burning it, because the problem with petroleum is when you burn it, one, it's poison. It's poison when you burn it. There are toxins, carbon monoxide, all kinds of bad things for the environment that are leaked when you burn virtually anything, but especially when you burn petroleum. And also, once you burn petroleum, it's gone forever. And when you take that petroleum and you turn it into plastics that can be recycled over and over again, or when you turn it into a petroleum product like what we're using to be heated up, where it can be re-refined over and over again and turned into other products and potentially reused in our system, then petroleum is a wonderful, amazing thing that makes our lives so much better. However, we need to use it responsibly and not be burning it. So, Larry, I just kind of introduced everybody to our first disruptive technology, part 1 of our 20,000 part series on disruptive technologies. And I've been setting our intention to partner with other companies and individuals who are creating their own disruptive technology. And I wanted this hangout to specifically be about telling some of the stories that are the background of our company and how we are bringing this disruptive technology to people and how it has disturbed some of the other companies that are working from the competitive mindset rather than the creative mindset, and are some of our experiences bringing this disruptive technology to the marketplace. Specifically, I thought that we could tell some stories about our trade show experience and some of the reactions that we got from other companies. But first, I thought it would be valuable to set the stage for how disruptive this technology is if you told the story about our first experimenting with the Fresnel lens and how what happened with your little fire that you set, because I thought that was kind of funny. So I just want to share stories kind of setting up foundation of the history of our disruptive technology.
Okay.
Do you want to tell
basically
of the fire?
Pardon me?
The story of the fire?
Sure. Okay. When we started experimenting, when we discovered the Fresnel lens from a big screen TV, and we found out that it could be used like a giant magnifying glass, it kind of led us to do some experiments with it. And that was Dan Rojas of Green Power Science. It kind of turned me on to the power of the Fresnel lens. And so I started doing some experiments on our land and just trying to figure out where the focal point was on this large lens was kind of tricky. And so because it produces so much heat, and so what I had to do was basically use I think it was a cookie sheet that I used for a target, and I had the lens set up facing the sun, and I was trying to find the sweet spot or the focal point of the sun as it went through the Fresnel lens. And so I was using the
Oh, Larry froze up on us there. Yeah, he's frozen. He'll be back. So anyway, actually, I will just quickly tell about Dan Rojas and his videos. It's kind of a little bit of a funny backstory as well. I came home recently, actually just a month or two ago, and the kids were telling me that, well, anyway. Sorry, I got a little thrown off by it, Larry being frozen. So anyway, one day I was talking to Larry, and he like slammed his fist on the table and was like, "Never trust the internet." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "They're actors, they're actors." So he was talking about this Dan Rojas and his partner. They actually had made some videos where they were doing experiments with the Fresnel lens that we use for our disruptive technology, and they had like lab coats on, and they looked real professional, like they were scientists. And then like 5 years after watching their videos and learning from them about Fresnel technology, thinking that they were these high-end scientists that really knew what they were doing, we found out that they were actually out-of-work actors that used to be on a soap opera, and that their YouTube videos were actually just them acting like actual scientists. And so what we, in the video, they said, oh yeah, it doesn't matter which way this Fresnel lens goes, it works either way. And actually, it didn't, it does. We found out it actually does make a difference which way the lens faces. So we actually had our lens on backwards because we took the word of these YouTube videos from Dan Rojas and his experiments, thinking that they were like engineers or some kind of scientists that knew what they were talking about. But it turns out that, yeah, they actually weren't. So I don't know what has happened to Larry here. He's completely frozen. So anyway. Oh, that's back. We'll just back here. So you're here twice now. You're back. So go ahead. What's your story?
Some kind of connection problems.
Go ahead with your story.
Continue where I left off.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're working with. Pardon me.
The cookie sheet and the Fresnel lens.
Fresnel lens, and I was basically trying to find the focal point.
I'll just kick him off again. He'll come back. So anyway, I'm trying to kick him off. Oh well, technical difficulties. He must be having a problem with his computer. Okay, he'll be back. So anyway, yeah, so we found out that, we actually had our lens on backwards for our first successful test for electricity, and it was pretty funny because we looked at our electric meter, or voltmeter, or whatever it's called, and we're like, well, what the heck? The manufacturers of these thermoelectric generators that we're using in our disruptive technology said that it was going to make, X amount of power, and here it's not making anywhere near that amount of power. Something's very wrong. So we spent almost a year tweaking and changing and improving and trying to make the technology more efficient. And then we realized from some real scientists that had some real experiments on some more YouTube videos that were more recent, showing that it actually matters which side of the lens is facing the sun. And so we realized that during that first test we had it on backwards, and we spent all this time trying to make it more efficient, and we actually could have just flipped their lens around and made it like 10 times more efficient, like instantly. But anyway, I think we made some changes and some progress towards having a better product because of that little kind of error in judgment and just not knowing. It's so exciting. For the people that are going to be joining us, it's going to be really fun because it's like when you're putting together a disruptive technology like this that is going to change the status quo and stop the burning, or help stop the burning of fossil fuels. That's the kind of people that we want to do these hangouts with, is people that are involved in technology that will disrupt that burning of fossil fuels, because we feel it's very irresponsible. Our company is actually located in Alberta, Canada, where there is a lot of fossil fuels being produced and used, and not very responsibly. But one thing I have found in my world travels is that because we are kind of the source of a lot of this environmental troubles, shall we say, as far as petroleum goes, because so much of it is produced and used here in our province. We are very, very, very responsible as far as recycling of plastics compared to other places that I traveled in the world. I just got back from Charlotte, and I was really impressed when I was in Phoenix because they had bins where they collected like plastic, paper, and glass all in one place. So in Phoenix, they must have some kind of sorting system or whatever in place. if that's how they were collecting at the airport. Unfortunately, when I was in Charlotte, I didn't see a single recycle anything for pop bottles, pop cans, plastic, paper, anything. I didn't see anything for recycling there. I'm usually pay quite a bit of attention to that too, and I was kind of looking for it, and I didn't actually think. I was quite focused on what I was doing there in Charlotte, but I didn't actually think to ask anybody like what kind of recycling do you do here. But as far as I saw, I didn't see any going on. So if you want to correct me in the comments and say, hey, in North Carolina we recycle, I could be wrong, but I do believe that they didn't. Their recycle program was non-existent. If anything, it was not well established, or it just didn't look like it was going on. So here in Alberta, Canada, where we have the tar sands, oil sands, whatever you want to call it, basically they're strip mining north of where I live, and some people might be a little upset for me saying that because they don't like it to be described in that way, but from what I've seen, that's what's going on, and people here are very protective of it. Anyway, I think there's this kind of ecological guilt that goes on for the residents of Alberta, especially those that profit from the oil and gas sector. And so because of that ecological guilt, our recycling programs here are very, very, very well established, been around for a long time, and are good, really good, comparable to anywhere else in the world that I've been or that I've heard about. Edmonton especially, you can see my shirt, Edmonton especially, very, very responsible with their recycling, and they have a very good materials handling program as far as dealing with their waste and being very recycle conscious. So anyway, that's one benefit of being in a place where there is some controversial sort of commercial activity going on that's a little bit kind of clashing with environmental concerns and people like me that are environmentalists. So anyway, yeah, definitely we're going to be contacting some people to be joining us, and once a week we want to do a hangout, or maybe even more often. We got 20,000 parts coming, so we want to make our have our disruptive technology hangout include other companies that have similar ideas and similar plans. There's some people that we've come across on Kickstarter that are actually found a way to recycle plastic that can be used. So they're making, it's a Kickstarter campaign where they're making plastic out of recyclable, or they're making plastic for the 3D printers with recycled materials. Just hold on a sec. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm just kind of wondering what's taking Larry coming on the call. But anyway, hopefully he'll come back with us. I don't know what's going on with his computer, but these things happen. So I will just keep telling you some more about our disruptive technology. We packed up our stuff and we went and took it to Texas. Was the first trade show that we attended, and actually when we took the Fresnel lens to Texas, we had not incorporated the Peltiers yet, and because we were in Texas, we were kind of disrupting things there for traditional photovoltaic companies. Were a little bit like, what are you guys trying to do here? This is not how it's done. They kind of were. I noticed that there was definitely a vibe of rejection amongst some of the companies that were definitely working, I believe, out of the mode of competition rather than creation. So they were a little disturbed by what we were doing, and they kind of expressed that to us. And but from the general public, they're quite excited about what we're doing. But we learned in Texas, because at the time all we were doing with the lens was creating heat, and so we kind of learned from Texas that people in Texas don't care about heat. They were like, this is not valuable to us, and so that's how we actually had it in our mind that, well, it would be good to do um, uh, something with the heat in order to generate electricity. So our first kind of thoughts on that were to um, use steam to generate electricity. So we we were first interested in using engine, and so um, So anyway, yeah, we first wanted to try a Stirling engine, and that didn't really work out too well for us. So, well, it wasn't that. We just looked at it, and we decided that that was going to be really expensive and require a lot of moving parts that would take a lot of maintenance. So we opted for Peltier technology instead. So I'm just going to have to let you guys go for a minute. I gotta just pause this, so sit tight. I will be right. Sorry about that. Really funny. So I because Larry got frozen there, I had to go ask my son what to do. But apparently, because he got frozen and I ejected him, now he can't come back on. So I just had to use his phone to try and send him another link. So hopefully he can join us. Because this was actually his idea to to do a hangout about disruptive technology. So it's kind of funny that he's not able to be saying anything about it because it was actually his idea. So I don't know what else to tell you. Well, I was going on about I'm back. Sorry about that, everybody. So I still haven't been able to get Larry on here, but I'm back. So that's good. I don't know what the heck Larry's problem is, but I'm a little upset because this hasn't been a very productive hangout being all by myself, but I might as well just be making a video. But anyway, um, as I was saying, in Germany, I had a fellow Canadian come up telling me that, oh, you don't belong here, blah, 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 and you can't be here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm already here, so apparently I can. Plus, I don't believe in that word, but yeah, he was telling me that you can't be here. And I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Anyway, so I was there, and apparently I could be there because I was. So anyway, I was really upset, and I was almost in tears. And then Larry came over, and I told him what happened. And he's like, well, the guy was threatening me, right? I'm like, yeah, he was pretty much threatening me, saying that, I felt like he was like, going to try and get me kicked out or something from what he was saying. And he's like, well, why would somebody threaten you? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, well, think about it. I'm like thinking, oh my God, I don't know. Why would somebody threaten me? And it's like, because when you're threatened, that's when you threaten other people. Like, you will not, get to that state of wanting to threaten somebody in that kind of way unless you yourself are feeling threatened by another person. So it's like, oh, it's like this guy obviously sees us as being disruptive. That's what we're talking about, disruptive technology. He sees our technology as being disruptive for his business. Like I say, because this particular gentleman was working from a place of competition rather than through creativity. So that's kind of what happens. I'm just going to go get my son's phone and see if I can get Larry here on the Hangout with us. Hold on. Oh, I'm just going to end this because I'm so tired. I can't wait for Larry anymore. And I'm like totally lost all my enthusiasm for telling these awesome stories. Oh, here he comes, finally, because I'm done talking. Okay, go ahead. What do you have to say about disruptive technology?
Oh, okay. I was talking about the solar heat collector, or the Fresnel lens on the solar heat collector, and it is, as I was trying to line it up to find the focal point, I was using a cookie sheet, and once I found the sweet spot, or the focal point with the Fresnel lens, it actually burned a hole right through the cookie sheet. It got red, really hot, and then it just vaporized. And so I knew it was pretty hot, and so I got up in excitement and I ran around the outside of the lens, which you're never supposed to do. And I was in between the lens and the ground with the sun on the other side of the lens, and I actually set my pants on fire. So that's how powerful the lens was. So that was a quick learning experience.
So I was telling everybody about our trade show experience and a little bit about how I think that our technology, when we presented it to people, especially to some of the other businesses that were working from a stance of competitiveness, how they seemed disrupted and disturbed by what we're doing. Do you have any comments about people that were disrupted or disturbed by our technology at the trade shows we attended?
Oh, definitely. I think especially in Munich, when I had stepped away, and there was some people having a look at the prototype that we had there. We had it set up, but it wasn't even working because we had some mechanical problems that happened in shipping at customs. So we didn't even have the machine working yet, but we had some people come up and basically just their reaction of looking at the machine and seeing what it was supposed to do. They could tell by the expressions on their faces that they weren't very happy about seeing new technology entering the photovoltaic industry. So we're still talking about alternative energy, but yeah, there's a bit of an animosity, I believe, just because there's something new coming on stream, and all the photovoltaic manufacturers are pretty much trying to outdo one another within efficiency, and that's been going on ever since. It's been going on for a long time, even prior to going to Munich. But since Munich, I remember about a year. That was in June of 2012, and about a period of a year after that, I kept receiving emails from PV Magazine saying that there was all this new technology that they're doing with photovoltaics and trying to up the efficiency up past 19 or whatever the efficiency is for the best one, and that's all that was going on. So when the other participants in the trade show saw what we were bringing to market, there was kind of it's a disruptive thing, because you're bringing something new into a market that's already struggling, and although it's all the same what energy and clean technology, everybody wants to be the best. And I think after what I learned when in Germany is that when these two engineers came to they came to look at our technology, and after I talked to them about the numbers that what the machine was going to be able to produce as far as power output, when they looked at that, they were quite impressed, and they said that it really, in a deadpan way, that based on what our numbers were showing, even before running the equipment, was that it's going to be putting out 4 times as much power as a standard photovoltaic of the same size, same footprint. So who knows? Maybe word got out about that, but I remember you told me a story about, because you were at that show as well, and you said that there's some guys that came up and were saying that we shouldn't be there with our snake oil and stuff like that, which I thought was, yeah, those guys sound pretty threatening. That we were bringing something new that's untested, but we just feel, well, that's what a trade show is for. You know, it's for new stuff. It's not for your run-of-the-mill stuff that you've been selling for the past 20 years. I always understood trade shows to represent what new technology is about. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, so it's really tricky to stay in this mode and mindset of creativity and not fall into the the loop or the rut. I guess it's a rut that you fall into of competition. And I know for myself, with another disruptive technology, these solar towers with the mirrors that the curved mirrors that shine the sun onto the tower. They're doing a very similar thing with their disruptive technology as what we're trying to accomplish with our disruptive technology. And when I heard the story about how there were birds, endangered species actually, that there's an article online, you can kind of look for it, where these mirrors that are concentrating the sun onto the tower actually were frying birds out of the sky. And I'm a little bit ashamed to admit that I actually got excited about that, because I kind of fell into that competitive mentality of, oh, this company, that's bad for them, good for us. But I think it's a lot more powerful when you work out of the mindset of creativity and you try to create win-win situations where there can be a situation that's beneficial for different companies that are maybe using different types of technology. The main thing is that we're disrupting not so much the use, but the misuse of oil and gas by burning of fossil fuels. That's what we're really looking at. We want to partner with people like the tower people. Unfortunately, their technology may not be able to continue on the path that they've been going on because of this issue with the birds. However, they are like-minded in the way that they want to see an end brought to the burning of fossil fuels for reaching our energy requirements. So definitely as we do these hangouts and we start connecting with other companies and individuals that are creating this disruptive technology that we're talking about, hopefully we can all work together and stay in a mode and come from a place of creativity and not fall into that trap of trying to work from the standpoint of competition, which is a little bit of what we ran into at the solar power trade shows that we attended. Can you just kind of, because actually today was the first time I ever even heard of disruptive technology, and when I spoke to Larry before the hangout, I was like, did you just make that up? Because I've never even heard of that. So can you just kind of describe what you would what it is to people that are watching that may have found us somewhere on the internet and wound up on this hangout and are going, what is disruptive technology?
Well, I would say there's a lot of different types of definitions of disruptive technology. I actually was, just before we started the hangout, I was looking into what some of them were. And they occur in any kind of industry that's had a technology for a long period of time. And something comes along that's new, that's going to affect their business. That would be disruptive technology. So there's Google itself is a disruptive technology to Microsoft. And Microsoft has had a monopoly on a lot of computer business things for years. And Google, since Google's come out, they've started their own operating system, which in some people's mind's eye, is destroying the business model for Microsoft. I wouldn't go that far. I think that, like you say, that they can all get along, everybody can get along and just make things better for the web experience, the internet experience. However, I think Google has got more things up their sleeves and some new technologies that we're going to see. It just seems to be like one of those going concern companies, and they're going to disrupt a lot of stuff with regarding business and the internet, which is a good thing. I think it's a good thing because it keeps everybody on their toes.
That's similar to what I was describing. I was talking about specifically the companies and individuals that we want to be collaborating with on these this 20,000 part series on disruptive technology. I just think it's hilarious saying that. But so as we move forward and get more companies and individuals involved that are with disruptive technology, we were what I thought we were focusing on mainly is, like you say, Google is a disruptive technology to a company like Microsoft. What the companies that and individuals we're looking for are people that have technology that will disrupt the burning of fossil fuels. I went into, before you joined me on the Hangout, I went into a whole long description about how great petroleum and oil and plastic products are when they are used responsibly, which to me means not burning them, but using them in a way that, because basically most plastics and most petroleum products are virtually indestructible, which means they can be recycled over and over and over and over again, and there's no need to dispose of them irresponsibly or to use petroleum products and other fossil fuels by burning them, which we also, I think, agree that is the irresponsible way to use the resource. So we are looking for other companies that have their own version of disruptive technologies that will specifically disrupt those companies that are focused on burning fossil fuels. Is that kind of, are we on the same page with that?
I think that'd be a really good idea. I think this hangout, if we can start focusing on that, I think the power of bringing these disruptive technologies and clean tech together is an incredibly good idea. If someone's not already doing it on a hangout, I'm not sure if someone is or not, but I think it'd be very powerful for all these clean tech companies that are struggling to get foothold because of their environment and the powers that be slowing them down. Be a nice to combine our resources and work together, and I think a Google Hangout would be an ideal platform for doing that.
Well, we are doing it starting with this one, and like I said, it's a 20,000 part series, so there will be lots and lots and lots more to come. And I think the Beatles really said it best, that you really have to admit there's no denying that it's getting better all the time. There are people out there that, you know, there's a lot of problems in the world, but there are people out there actively looking for solutions, focused on solutions, and creating disruptive technologies that will allow these problems to be solved in the most efficient and inexpensive manner that is available. And basically, there's no need for companies that are striving to achieve the same goal, which is to reduce and potentially end the burning of fossil fuels. Any companies that are striving to achieve that goal, we can work together creatively rather than be in competition with one another. So it really taught me a lot, and I learned a lot from that experience of feeling that kind of negative energy where there was a sense of competition, which was, to me, was crazy. Like, why were these big solar PV companies threatened by me? Like, because I have this little startup company that hasn't even turned a profit yet, that is, you know, I don't think I really understood when we attended these trade shows, I don't really think I understood the power of what we're doing. And some people that are maybe a little bit smarter than me, or maybe had a little, well, not smarter, but just had different knowledge and different skills, they could see the potential of what our little company was doing a lot more clearly than it that I saw it. So after they kind of looked at it, they were able to see right away that this was something that could, you know, potentially put them out of business, or take a share of their market. You know, like I said, they had this kind of competitive mindset, and I wasn't even like thinking about competing with anybody at these trade shows. My actual intention in going to the trade shows was looking for partnership with some of these companies, which is exactly what we're still looking for with this disruptive technology hangout. So we are going to be actively contacting via email and through the internet other companies that have maybe different types of disruptive technology that are working towards the same goals. Like we tried to contact Elon Musk, because he's a very, very prominent and well-known disruptive technologist. Like, he has different companies that definitely kind of rock the boat, stir the pot, shake up the status quo. And yeah, definitely I think that our companies could work together and find a win-win situation that would be beneficial to everybody on the planet, all life on the planet, not just people, but the plants and animals and stuff that have to survive in our environments. And so yeah, we've tried contacting him, but we'll continue vigilantly to contact other individuals and companies that are focused on the same goal of ending the misuse and abuse of fossil fuels. And it's super exciting that we can, sorry about that, but it can ring. I'll get the message. So anyway, I'm just super excited to be starting this 20,000 part series on disruptive technology, where we will be sharing all of these. Actually, before we got cut off, or I had to step away, I was talking about the Kickstarter campaign, where they are recycling plastic into a form that is usable in the 3D printer. And so that is a disruptive technology, because there are manufacturers right now that make the plastic raw material for the 3D printers that are trying to say that no, you need to use new materials in your 3D printers. It's not going to be good if you use these recycled materials, because they're working out of that competitive mindset where they're thinking that, oh no, this recycled plastic going into these 3D printers is going to cut into our profits. And so yeah, that's definitely not the way to go. And so there's just lots and lots of examples of different disruptive technologies that are kind of bucking the status quo and doing things in a new, innovative way. And it's really funny for other companies to be trying to work from a competitive front with these, because the truth of the matter is, it doesn't really matter what you do. You should always work out of the creative mindset in business, because whichever, and focus your creativity on making things inexpensive and more efficient, because in the marketplace, that's what people want. That's what people will pay for. If your product is either less expensive or more efficient than what is offered by other companies, what other companies have created, if you can create something that is more efficient, less expensive, then you kind of win. And win, I don't know if you want to say win is the word, because that kind of makes it competitive, which is what we're trying to avoid, but you are sustainable in the marketplace if that is your focus of your creativity, is bringing down costs and bringing up efficiency. Would you agree with that, Larry?
Yeah, I think anybody who thinks the same way should join in on this hangout, and we could probably get a little bit more done. on all levels, help each other out. And there's a lot of companies out there like this.
Well, it'll be a snowball effect. Like, we're just starting out, so right now it's just you and me. But over time, more people will hear about it. We'll just keep inviting people, and eventually we'll have some people that join us. Can you just tell a story or something? I gotta excuse me for a sec.
Sure. A story. Okay. Well, another story about disruptive technology would be, oh, what other ones come to mind? There's not a lot going on in the automotive industry. However, as far as alternative energies go for fuel sources, the biggest leader, I think, is probably the Tesla car company, and that's and I think Trish might have mentioned that it is a leading uh, company in disruptive technology and other things that go along with the Tesla Motors company is the method of powering and fueling electric vehicles. When you start using the sun, which is a really huge part of what Tesla's becoming, being that Elon Musk is also, I believe, he's the chairman of Solar City. They just purchased, I believe, a solar panel manufacturing company. And so you've got the whole enchilada there, really, when it comes to alternative energy, because you have a fabulous electric vehicle, which runs on electricity, and then you have the power supply for this electric vehicle being the sun. It's like, wow, there is no need to actually pull any kind of oil product out of the ground to get these vehicles going on the road for everyone. And I can understand where the Tesla Motors company has now offered their patents to anybody who's interested in manufacturing vehicles, electric vehicles, using their technology. It's a really smart move by the company, simply because it gets the message across. Yeah, we're not here in this business. The same reason King Sunshine Solar Systems exists is we didn't start up and say it was when it started. It was like, let's power our place by using solar power. And I think with the Tesla Motors company, there was a lot of inspiration to getting off hydrocarbons. In fact, I think in one of those documentary movies about the company, Elon Musk said that something to the effect that let's get the you-know-what off of being dependent on oil. And so it's never, I don't think it's ever an issue of let's harm another technology or let's disrupt any kind of technology. It's like, let's get something together so we can save the environment, so we can have air to breathe, so we can have clean water to drink, and we don't have to drink all of our water out of bottles. It's really, it's gotten a lot of out of hand, and I think this disruptive technology is the way to go to get things back in line. You know, I think probably when Ford invented the Model A car, and all the horse and wagon companies that existed back then were like, oh no, what are we going to do? And that's just what happens in business. You know, they had to make changes. I'm sure a lot of those horse and wagon companies probably became automotive car companies because of Henry Ford's work and wanting to bring the combustion engine out there to make it simpler for people to get around while using horses. So now it's time for another change. We've gone from horse and wagon, disrupted by the the motor vehicle, the combustion engine, and it changed the whole transportation industry back then, and now it's become a bit of a problem in our society, whereas it creates a lot of pollution. I don't think Henry Ford even knew that was going to happen. Unfortunately, it did. And it's a good thing that the Ford Motor Company is, a lot of people don't know it, but they're working on a lot of electric vehicle technology as well. So they're being smart in that regard because they know what's coming down the pike, and so they're getting ready for it. And well, I think it's happening now. Like these electric vehicles, you can go out and buy one right now and drive it around and use the sun to power it using King Sunshine Solar Systems technology because it's more efficient than photovoltaics. That will soon be proven on our website and our next next test. The efficiency of it will be there, and I think we'll probably get a lot of hate mail from EV manufacturers saying stop, or all that kind of stuff comes along with disruptive technology, and especially when you hold patents on your technology. So it's very similar to the Tesla Motors company. Is that kind of what you wanted for a story?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a lot. So that's just kind of more on similar to what I was saying. It's been over an hour, so I'm really tired actually. So we've scheduled our kind of hangout here for at this time in hopes of attracting some international people joining us, and they will be in the very near future, and so it kind of gets a little bit late for me. So I just wanted to kind of wrap it up by saying, like right now we'll set the intention that before we wrap up our 20,000 part series on disruptive technology, we will somehow, some way get Elon Musk to join us on one of these hangouts. We actually, Larry and I together watched Elon Musk, and he participated on a hangout with Richard Branson on the Google for Entrepreneurs channel, and so that was really valuable, and hopefully we can get him to join us for one of our hangouts in the near future to talk about some of this disruptive technology that his company and our company are both working on, as well as all kinds of other people from all over the world that have the same mission as us to free the world from our dependence and sometimes our irresponsible use of fossil fuels. So with that being said, I'll put a link
to. Should I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good idea at this point to invite any companies out there with disruptive technology in the clean tech industry globally to get. I'm not sure how they get a hold of the Hangout system. They get a hold of you, I imagine, and have them join in hopefully on these Hangouts to get their side of the story as well.
I will, below the replay of the Hangout, I will put a link to our King Sunshine website, and on the website there should be contact us information, and please do get in touch with Larry or myself and express your interest in joining us on our 20,000 part series of Disruptive Technology Hangouts, where we'll be talking about everything, everything technology that especially and specifically is disruptive to the use of fossil fuels, or the misuse of fossil fuels. So with that being said, go ahead and click the King Sunshine link and find our contact information, and I guess go out there and make it a great day. And if I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture. That's where I'll be first thing in the morning, and in the later on in the evening, just before bed, I will be here on another installment of our Hangouts. So thanks so much for watching. Bye, Larry.
Bye-bye.